Renthal bringing you Darren Lawrence here on the show, renthal.com for more information. How's MX testing going, and will Jett make the first round, or what are we at for the odds on that, and how's the testing going?
Yep, testing was today for the first time, just going through checking out some of the hard parts and different things that we had for the first round of Supercross, all the new technology stuff that shall come through, just trying to get our head around that stuff. Jett should make parlor as long as everything goes according to plan. Same as SMX, but with Jett. It was just like, hey, Jett, let's just get in there. Let's just cut our teeth. If we can get top 5, we're doing well. Let's just find our groove, and he came in there and did
we
better
saw
than
that.
we expected. So parlor's the same thing, same theory. Hey, mate, crack a start, ride at your own pace. Let's just get some points. Let's just try and just be blessed that we're actually in there, because his numbers are good. Like, the kid just heals fast, and so he's coming along really, really good, but obviously also still putting the brakes on a little bit. Come on, mate, let's just relax. Take your time. Don't rush it, because he's determined as ever to get back to,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember when Stu did his ACL, and I was like, oh, it's going to take him a few races to get. And Stu just whooped everybody at Glen Helen, and same thing with Jett last year. Oh, it's going to take a couple of races, and then just these special talents, the real special ones. Yeah, they don't really know. They don't really know that part about easing into anything,
No, they don't, and it's today's technology. Like, even Warren Kramer does all our surgery stuff that Johnny hooked us up with, and he sort of, it's normally a 3-month sort of schedule. That's normally where you go at, but then you go with Dr. G, and you go with the red light therapies and the hyperbarics, and you do all your recovery like Jett does. He goes to California and just does it from 7 a.m. in the morning to probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's all he does.
Yeah.
And it does. It obviously takes a percentage off of the healing time, and your recovery is quicker,
For sure. We've texted back and forth a little bit about this earlier before the boys got hurt. I don't quite get it, and maybe you can kind of lay it out as much as you can for us on the show. The 2020, we saw the success the boys had with the new chassis outdoors last year, right? And from everybody that I talked to, they stiffened the chassis. They made it, you don't have that plate on there that you guys had on, and it's a much improved bike. So all of us, Dazzy, are like, well, shit, Supercross is going to be even better. And I know they brought in some new suspension, a few different components that changed things, and you guys were figuring it out. It wasn't like it was terrible. You got another couple of races before the injuries, and you guys were on board. But looking back on it, Darren, what about the 2025 that caught you guys a little behind the 8 ball for Supercross on that bike? Because everything I kind of heard and talked about, I thought it would work really good right out of the box.
I agree. So I believe what we did, and we just this afternoon put in the setup that we ended up on, so literally Des Nation setup. And Hunter did his couple laps, and he came back in and he went, wow, I messed that up. So I believe what we did is, because you're so used to riding the 21, 22, 23, 24 frame, it needed to be high. The wheels didn't like being up under the guards, So you naturally set a bike up to what you're used to, not maybe what the frame required. And our eyes ourselves are also used to seeing a bike handle a certain way. So you naturally go towards what you're used to or what you see, instead of stopping and going, all right, where do we start? So once again, our schedule is so tight and so busy. Probably needed more time, to be honest, Steve. So Berner and Trey, obviously Japan came out and did testing at our farm again, and it's amazing how many days these manufacturers spend just on a stock motorcycle. And we sort of expect, we'll do 3 days of testing and we'll get pretty close to it. So I've actually learnt a lot this year, once again, by our mistakes of going, you know what, us thinking we're going to do it in 3 days was obviously we didn't expect that. But, you sort of think you'll get it done pretty quickly, and we end up spending I think it was 12 or 13 days on that stuff before A1, struggling, but thinking, I think we got it. And then you got guys like Jett that do 3 laps, and he's like, no, I'll make that work. Whereas he's sort of now learnt that he compensates so much from motorcycle. When it's not correct, he can work it out. Do you remember
Anaheim 2? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I was going to say Anaheim 2.
Anaheim 2.
I felt like Jett's talent came through there,
Yeah, for sure. And then High Point back when he went the 22 motos, right?
Yep.
Do you remember the second, was it the first or second moto? Remember Kenny gapped him out, with 12 seconds.
Yep.
We made a fork change, and we stuffed it up. And it took Jett the 10 to 12 minutes to go, this is where this fork wants to ride. This is the sweet spot. I just have to ride it this way. And then he reeled Kenny back in. And that's Jett's positive for racing, but negative for testing. Because if he does more than 1 or 2 laps, he just starts to compensate and goes, this is all right. And then Hunter rides it and goes, dude, this is crap. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So Jett sort of learned, he literally only does 1 lap and then has to give his off-the-cuff comment. Because his length of his leg and his length of his arms, he can compensate more. So that was like the start of this year. Jett could compensate when the bike wasn't right. Hunter couldn't. It took Hunter till Tampa, that final qualifying session. He actually went up on the board for the first time of the year, and he's just like, boys, this is, now I can turn the bike. Now I can carry his momentum. And then Doofus goes and hits a tough block. So that was game over, So it's learning your own self as individuals and the faults within yourselves of how you set something up, or you're used to something for so many years. So you somehow got to stop and reset yourself and go, no, this frame is a little different. How do we set it up,
So do you think for outdoors, we saw it work well last year, will you just run the same, or will you put those new show stuff on and try some new things?
No, it'll be a totally different setup on what the frame likes.
Yeah.
Because we've had that break. Hunter came back, obviously. We always start off on the stock motorcycle again after injury, just to check ourselves and have the time to reiterate on what the bike likes and what the frame likes. So we're hoping we're better. I hope we've learnt our lesson from last time, Steve. That's all you ever try and do, mate, is you make the mistake and then you correct it.
Another big change was putting the Get stuff on the 450s, the Get ECUs. Obviously, great success on the 250 side of things.
Yep.
You figured that out? You got that down, Pat? Like, it's a better system in your eyes, more adjustability? Or are you still learning that too a little bit because of the early injuries?
Yeah, definitely learning it a little more. The 450s are finickier bike for sure to set up, but it's just a later model ECU. The Kean that we ran is a great ECU, and we've used it for 20 years, I guess, at HRC. So it's as good as it's going to get, whereas the Get has a lot more control abilities on start maps and so forth like that. So we believe that it's only normal. You'll struggle for a little while because of something new, but in the end, you believe it's going to be a better package, because when you go to MotoGP or Formula One, so forth like that, any car racing, our industry is so far behind on electronics and ECU control. I think that's one area our sport can progress, and become better. So I'm hoping that we can, be a bit in front of some of the people we're racing, and get a bit of an edge on trying to take a risk and move forward on something that's a little bit later technology,
Yeah. By the way, if somebody listening wants a deal on a Get ECU or CDI for the two-stroke stuff, just send us an email using the contact form on Pulp, and we'll pass it on to Dan, and he will get you the Pulp Show deal.
Yeah, Darren, on the topic of testing and the boys getting back on the bike a little bit, talking to Lars last week, he was not too worried about their progress with their own fitness and testing at the same time because of having that data from behind you guys with last year. Do you feel like the boys are in that mindset as well? Like there's not going to be a rushed program to try different things out to be ready for Paula? Or is it a little bit kind of like, oh, we got to, knock some stuff out while also getting our fitness back at the same time?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a person of not focusing so much on the goal, if you know what I mean. I find a lot of the kids do it when they're younger. They'd line up on the line, and every kid wants to win the race, right? So they focus on I need to win, whereas I learnt really, really early with my boys is the win is obviously the end goal, but you sort of push it to the side and around the corner. Because if you focus on the present and what you're doing right now, the win will take care of itself, or the goal to get to Parla will take care of itself. So just forget about that goal, because I find a lot of times in life, if you're rushing something or you're focusing on something too far down the path, you'll miss the steps in front of you. So you just need to focus on the current and the present, what you're dealing with at that time, and just try to do that as best as you can 100% each day, and then the end goal will take care of itself. So not too focused on the Parla, because we just need to focus with what we're dealing with today. Jett, no, you're a bit tired. You've worked your knee a bit hard. Don't stress, mate. Just do a little bit shorter stuff today, Just deal with what you're dealing, because if you look too far down the track, he could push himself too much that day and then cause the knee to tweak or do something silly, So more, I think we need to focus on what's in front of us each day to day,
Question for you. We've made a few jokes about this, Darren, by the way. Seth Hammaker has gone to the farm there to work with you.
Yep.
And obviously, like I love Seth. He's a really good kid, really nice. And he's given you guys credit, Michael Byrne, yourself, everybody else. He talks about how you've helped him maybe change some riding posture to stay away from injury, to stay away from crashing.
Yep.
And we were laughing because obviously Chance Hymas is there, and he's Honda. We're like, can you imagine Chance being like, "Hey, Darren, maybe stop helping him. Maybe stop helping Seth because I'm trying to race Seth." Like, but I mean, that's the way you are. People who've been there, and in Cullen Park and everybody else, Gage Linville have told me about you helping them when asked and all of this. But we've been laughing that Hymas is probably like, "Yeah, stop helping Seth Hammaker."
Yeah, Chunk brought in a baseball bat the other day. I don't know what that was about. He looked at me a little funny out the side of his eye.
No, I think it's good. I mean, look, it is what it is, and everybody's trying to get better. And I'm not saying you're ignoring Hymas by any means, but it's just funny. We were laughing about that, yeah.
No, Burner's doing an unreal job. He's such a the same dude every day. Comes in, no different dude, just wants to black and white. Let's do the work, lads. And he's done unreal with Seth, and such a nice kid. But Seth's just a little older, Chunk's got unbelievable speed, man, but he's just not quite there yet. He'll put all the pieces of the pie together one day, and all of a sudden, like, oh, wow, where's Chance Hymas come? Well, Chance Hymas has come from the last 2 years of just working shit out, So it's just good. But I look at all these kids, Cullen, Seth, Chunk, Heath, Thomas, there's heaps, but they're all someone's son, and that's why I look at them. I try to treat them all the same, as though, hey, if those parents can't be there, I like to try to make sure I'm doing the right thing by the parents. And I say it quite often to a couple of kids there. I like your old man better than you, so shut up and do what you're told,
Hey, Seth's a good kid. Seth's he's a polite kid. I've got all the time in the world for Seth,
Yeah, and everyone says the same thing about him. It's a pleasure to have him there. We have a really good bunch of kids at the farm. It's a good, positive vibe. Everyone's there to help each other. Dylan Wright's down, a fellow Canadian, you know.
Yeah.
And I love the kid. Unreal dude. It's a really good vibe at the farm. Everyone works hard to try and improve on themselves,